Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. Today we are going to have a look at one of the most iconic chess games that's ever been played. And it's between Paul Morphy with the white pieces and the Duke of Brunswick with the black pieces. So Paul Morphy is considered the best chess player of the 19th century, and then we have the Duke of Brunswick playing together with his Count Isoard. They're actually looking at the same time at the chessboard and discussing moves against Paul Morphy. Paul Morphy, back then being considered the best chess player, of course, he was invited to this opera, and they were sitting at the opera playing chess while listening to the legendary music played over there. So you must imagine the ambient. So you can see already this is how the game started. This is the Philidor defense, and the order is like this: e4, e5, knight f3, and then this move d6, preventing the pawn from getting captured. And then we have this move d4, striking at the center, threatening to take this pawn. And now we have the duke or the count, whoever played this move, pinning the knight to the queen. So here there's a little tactic. The idea is that if you take like this and black takes back, you simply capture the queen, and after they take back with the king, you're going to take a free pawn attacking the bishop, and here there are two squares in order to defend this fork and protect the bishop as well. But that didn't happen. They actually saw that this was going to happen, so they decided to take this knight first. So takes, and then we get takes again in the center. Now the material is equal. The problem is, wow, white is now developing with a tempo, so you must be careful, right? Knight f6, blocking the attack, and now you see Paul Morphy, the genius of Paul Morphy, he is coming to the other side. Beautiful move. Why? Because he's now attacking again. There are many ways to defend this, but queen to e7 is what the duke chose. And then we get knight to c3, simply developing the knight, a lot of ideas, and we're going to see a beautiful game from here on. So we get this move c6. Why do we play c6? In order to prevent the knight from ever going there and to protect this pawn as well. As you can see, Paul Morphy could have decided to develop this, or just to take like this, so to take the pawn and then attack the rook. He didn't do that, and that's crazy if you think about it. So we get pin. And yeah, if you're doubting it, of course Paul Morphy saw that. Don't worry about it. Okay, so we get the pin, and now we have this move b5, attacking the bishop. The bishop has to move, right? No, a knight sacrifice. Beautiful. Takes, and now knight to d7. Somehow you have to block this check. But how do you set more pressure over here? That's the question, right? Long castles. Fascinating move. You don't just bring the rook over here, you also keep the other rook in the game because it could come to help later on, right? Rook d1, overprotecting the knight, and it's actually not overprotecting but rather protecting because it's attacked by two pieces. And now we see a beautiful rook sacrifice. And here you can see that if you had just brought the rook, you could not sacrifice the rook. Why could you not sacrifice the rook? Because after takes, the position is borderline okay. And black is actually winning. So there is a little problem, right? There must be an idea that after rook sacrifice, the long castles enables you to bring the other rook as well. And that is what Paul Morphy saw. Okay? Now, why did black do this? Just to get out of the way of the pin, right? Now they could protect with the knight as well. And now we get bishop takes d7. Knight takes d7. And the position is actually fine, isn't it? So black should be basically winning. You just saw it, right? Black should be basically winning because they're up a piece. And I just spoilered you, of course. Beautiful queen sacrifice. What? How? You give up the queen? It can just be captured by the knight. No, of course not. There were no mouse slips back then. Rook to d8, checkmate. Beautiful finish of this game. And the video is not over, as you can see, right? So obviously this game has ended, and the Duke was completely humbled. He now knows not to mess with Paul Morphy, but we're going to have a look at another game played between Jean Dufresne and Adolf Andersen with the white pieces. This is called the Evergreen. You might have heard about it, and this is even more legendary and more well known than that. So we get e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, and then this move, bishop to c4, initiating the Italian game. We get the Gioco Piano and the Evans Gambit. Beautiful. When you see this, you know it's going to be a dynamic game. Takes, and then this move c3, he goes back, and then you push d4. Beautiful. Takes, castles, and push. I mean, there are a lot of ideas you could basically take, but here you may get in trouble later on. So black usually doesn't want to hurry to take that. So we get this, and wow, what a savage move, right? White doesn't even capture back the pawn, but instead goes for an attack. So we get developing the queen to f6, protecting this at the same time. And now we get e5. Why? Takes, 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 and now you're suddenly going to take this, and there might be some problems coming pretty soon, right? So the queen moves out of the way, but still protecting this pawn, very important. So now we bring the rook to e1. Adolf Andersen was a master attacker, and you're going to see this in this game. Okay, knight to e7. Okay, bishop c3. You see, back when he played b4 over here, he freed up this diagonal because after takes, this diagonal is now free. And this just came to life. And that is absolutely fascinating already, because in this position, we get this move b5. b5 gives up another pawn, and after takes, he's looking to to activate the rook. The queen just slides back, and then we have this move bishop to b6, simply protecting and actually scavenging for an attack. And we get this move knight to d2. Knight to d2, activating all pieces, very important if you are an attacking player and you want to go on an attack. You shouldn't just go on an attack with one horse. A lot of my students do this actually, and yeah, this is always a bad move. And obviously this is just a knight blunder over here. But even if the queen were somewhere else, just lashing out with one piece to the attack is not going to be beneficial. And if you want to get coached by me, you can actually go to the link in my bio, Tactical Stronghold, and see you in the Tactical Stronghold. Then you can book a free call, and in the Tactical Stronghold, I'm going to teach you how to become a better chess player. Let's get back to the game. Knight to d2, and then bishop to b7. Bishop to b7, oh, obviously activating all the pieces, not a bad move at all. And now we see this move, knight to e4, bringing the knight to the other half of the board or towards the opponent is obviously a sign for attack. And we see this move, queen to f5. Queen to f5, and obviously the idea of this was to capture. And now we get this move, queen to h5. There is no discover check anymore. A beautiful tactic over here. Let's do a random move just to showcase. Boom! Check. Discover check. The game is over. Because you lost the queen, you are going to lose everything anyways. So it's gonna be difficult, right? Okay, so we get this. And I spoiled it again. We're going to see a knight sacrifice. So beautiful. So takes, takes, and it's actually not really a sacrifice because of the pin. You're simply going to capture it right away again. And now we have this move, rook to g8. And as you can see, it's labeled a great move because it's actually a move that somehow holds not the position, but allows counterplay. And it's the only move that doesn't lose on the spot. And then we get this move, rook to d1. Beautiful. Wow, what were these players doing back in the day knowing all this? So we get takes, and then we get takes, and then we get takes. And we get a queen sacrifice. Okay, I'm not gonna shout too loud. That is unnecessary. So why queen sacrifice, right? So beautiful rook sacrifice, brilliant move. Takes, obviously. Queen sacrifice? Well, there's actually a forced checkmate here. And if you can find it, then it's very impressive, by the way. Because after takes, the tactic is you give a discover check. This bishop cannot be captured. And if you were to give it here now, the king just goes here, and it's kind of unclear. Okay, you're getting this, but you're actually getting checkmate at the same time as well, right? So the mating pattern is that you give a check here, so that square isn't available. And after he goes here, you give another check backed up by the rook. And after this moves, it's checkmate. And this was the evergreen game. So we've taken a look at two games, and we're going to take a look at one more game. And it's going to be the Rubinstein's Immortal game. It starts with d4 and then d5, knight f3, and then e6. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. Obviously very symmetrical. If you play here, it's completely symmetrical, but now we kind of go into a Marshall setup. And this is very dynamic in the center. A lot of trades could happen. Everything could open up. And instead of that, the tension keeps on going, and he just develops the knight. Rubinstein is playing with the black pieces, and Rotlevi is also a great chess player of his time, is playing with the white pieces. So we get knight develop, and now it's very, very symmetrical, especially after something like knight to f6, and that actually happened in the game. So we get takes, and then we get this move a a3. Why? Because you're looking to play b4, you're looking to play c5, and obviously you're gonna have a bunch of stuff going on over there. So we get this move a6 just because after b4 you could slide the bishop back to a7 if you wanted to, but actually Rubinstein decided to do something else. He just slid it back to d5. Okay, placing it on this diagonal, why did he prefer it? Because he's probably going to take control of this square as well, and it's just a beautiful move. So we get this move, bishop to c2. Why? On this diagonal, it's very strong, and as you can see, this bishop was kind of passive looking over here. And now castles, queen to d2, activating the queen, enabling the rook to go over there. Takes could happen in the future, and a lot of trades could be going on. So you get this move, queen to e7, and after developing the bishop takes, and you play this move b5. Attacking the bishop has to go back. It could also go here, but obviously, as I told you, it's kind of passive, and at some point you're gonna bring it over here anyways. So why not do it directly? And instead of getting absolutely lasered by this rook, let me show you a little tactic. If you castle here, you think you're completely fine. You're not. There's a check, and whatever you take with, even with the knight, you're simply going to lose the queen, and you're going to lose the game. Bringing back the bishop here, still rook to d8, setting a lot of pressure, and we have this move queen to e2 going out of the way, and now bishop to b7. Castles, knight to e5, takes, and then f4. Rotlevi says, okay, I'm striking at you. And let's actually change the perspective. Let's look at the perspective of Rubinstein. So you can see this bishop that was just developed on b7 is actually now sniping the king. And even though this bishop now has to move back somewhere, uh, this bishop could help you start an attack. So we get bishop to c7, and now we get this move e4. Let me ask Stockfish real quick. So here already black is better, and apparently rook ac8, which actually was played in the game, was the best move. So before e4, you didn't have such a bad advantage, but after e4 it got even worse. So we get push, we give a check, and now we bring the knight to g4. What? What is going on? Okay, so takes, obviously takes, and you're completely infiltrating after everything is done. You are going to be in trouble, my boy. You're going to be in trouble. So that didn't happen in the game. We get this, and now there's a checkmate threat on the board. Oh no, you can take the free bishop. Checkmate. That shouldn't happen to you at all. So we get this move, g3, protecting like this after moving the pawn. And then we get a beautiful rook sacrifice. What is going on already? So, yeah. Takes the free queen, right? So the queen is apparently free. Beautiful, beautiful. Rook to d2. Attacking the queen. If the rook is captured, it's laser beam checkmate. Absolutely beautiful idea. And that actually happened in the game. And now I told you it's checkmate. But you can block with the queen, and it looks like you're actually fine. You captured a lot of stuff, you're up material. But beautiful move by Rubinstein. It's absolutely incredible that these players were playing like this back then, right? Because if you take the free bishop, it's checkmate over here. And if you don't, it's going to be checkmate anyways. But this happened in the game ended, and Rubinstein came out on top. Now these were very iconic games, and some games that you should know about because they have fascinating ideas, fascinating tactics, common openings, and if you know these games, you're probably going to have a lot of patterns for yourself as well that you're going to be able to implement in your games. So, if you like this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel, and if you want one-on-one coaching that's actually free, go to tacticalstronghold.card.co. Link is in my bio, and you can book a free call. I'm going to help you become the chess player you want to be. See you next time.